The hard part is hooking them, is to get them to participate.
The first thing I did on the day one was I gave an example, the cards that said something unique about me. I used an example from myself, but the students didn't know that. And so my example was, one unique thing about me is I went skydiving. And so the students were looking all around the room trying to figure out who had gone skydiving, and they didn't even think that I was part of that.
One of my favorite things we did was when we drew our emotion or how we wanted to feel that day. That's when I started to like it like that. I was like, oh, this isn't so bad, because we do a lot of fun activities. Mine was bubbly, and I drew a person blowing a bubble.
We did a couple things where we did some charades. We incorporated some charades and incorporated some Pictionary.
They really liked Pictionary. I mean, they raved about Pictionary. They always wanted to play it.
I and Richmond had a lot of fun with Pictionary. Somehow we turned every single time into Pictionary.
I like the Pictionary game. I was sick for that.
Drawing pictures, I guess, is a way we can get out how we feel better.
Certain activities, like I mentioned, the game with no name, I think that they really enjoyed. They weren't even focused on that they were in enrichment or they were participating in the well-being way. They were just kind of lost in their ideas and in their brainstorming and recalling the memories that made them feel happy.
The last session I used as the game with no name.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to see their response on that, because I split them up into the groups. I didn't want them to stick with their friends, so I had them number off and I put them in their groups. And then they each came up with something so individual between groups. There was one that was ultimate roller ball or something, where they had to play baseball while on roller skates, and then they ran into a wall, and it was just it was so different from what you might think of. And then one was the ultimate pickle race.
The Being Alive Day, they were all the kids were really into it, and I think they liked sharing the stuff they did.
The one that I think about that we had a lot of energy was the healthy behaviors one, which was interesting. That brought up a lot of discussion.
The favorite activities were the ones where they actually got to get involved. And I know a few of the students mentioned, and teachers as well, the game with no name, which is just, again, another simple way of getting into groups and saying, create a new game that has some kind of physical activity component in it. And when you do that, you really are kind of freed up. We can come up with whatever we want, as long as it's within reason, and appropriate. So they had a lot of fun creating and inventing new games. They had fun with the name the feel, which is kind of the offshoot of Pictionary. We did an activity where it's kind of, feeling the senses, where you kind of bring your senses, smell and touch and sight into the idea of feel as a holistic thing, including all of the senses. And so, but the most fun activities were the ones where they actually were able to get involved in a game-like situation.
Jay had the outdoor pursuit in mind as a way of getting kids to kind of learn about or venture out and try to find a feel in a different way. So a lot of these kids were already athletes. A lot of them were already artists. They did dance, or they did music, or they did something of that sort. But this was just another way of pushing them into an environment where they could also engage in their field.
Like we said, every single time we did it, we had to incorporate the feel and the well-being way with it in some way. It was really fun. And I've always known swinging and stuff, and with the whole pulley system and the ropes, I've always said that looks really cool. So here, and it didn't cost anything, I was really excited.
They would see this huge ropes course. They would see the challenges, even with the first people that went on, the wall, the 5 wooden boards. I know that myself, I was terrified of doing. I was scared of failing. But I think the fact that they all pushed themselves into trying it out, you could see at the end they were incredibly proud of what they did.
I faced a few fears in that when I was walking up there, I was you're gonna regret it if you don't do it. Just go. Don't let yourself think and see how high you are. Just go. For example, on this broken ladder thing, I stood on the first one. Everybody was all creaky when they stepped on it, but I ran across just to do it. It was actually pretty fun. It felt like just going. And it was shaky. Oh man, it's scary.
The one thing that I know happened in our situation in terms of the outdoor activities, there's definitely key literature out there to show that kids are outdoors less, but they like to be outdoors. So we did start out with offering up after-school voluntary activities for ninth graders. We partnered up with the Outdoor Pursuit Center at Miami University to offer a few kind of high ropes kinds of experiences for this group of ninth graders. And we did have some takers on that who came out and did have some fun experiences with being outdoors. It was so positive in a sense that we were able to, this year, now our second year doing the Wellbeing Way, we were able to get the entire new batch of ninth graders or freshmen to go up to a local state park in different chunks of students and go through an adventure challenge, which was also coordinated by the Outdoor Pursuit Center on school time. So now you have it built into the school day. And I have to say, having gone and watched and observed and participated in those, that the ninth graders absolutely loved those experiences. They were in each enrichment class. They were bonding together as a unit, as a team, and you could see how that will be so helpful when we go in now in the spring with the new group of mentors, because these ninth graders already kind of know each other. Their teacher was with them at this adventure challenge, and so that they got to know their teacher a little bit better. And so now we have this kind of really good foundation in which to build in some of the Wellbeing Way activities and some of the fun stuff. We also had a t-shirt design contest, which again is just one way to perhaps rope in a few kids who wanted to kind of work on their artistic side to see if that might be where their feel is. And so we had a variety of students submit designs and so forth. And there were 2 students who ultimately were named first and second place.
I did the t-shirt, and on the back of our soccer t-shirts, we always have like an inspirational quote or a funny quote or something.
I don't know why, but my milk carton just like popped in my head. And so I drew that, and then I thought all this cool stuff like your feel never expires, the expiration date.
I actually asked a couple of my friends which one they liked better, because I was like in between 2, and then they picked the one they liked better.
And it took me forever, and I enjoyed that it took me a long time, and then my final product was really good.
I was just like, okay, I'm gonna make this look cool. I probably won't win, but it's just kind of fun creating things and like coming up with your own ideas.
Why'd I submit?
Yeah,
I wanted movie tickets.
I wanted movie tickets.
And I wanted to make a shirt.
All of the ninth graders got t-shirts at the end that had the designs from these 2 students incorporated onto the t-shirt. So again, it was trying to kind of create a little bit more sense of playfulness in terms of designing the t-shirt, but also a little bit of ownership in terms of this is the Wellbeing Way is for us ninth graders. We're special, and again, to try to help them kind of figure out a little bit more of how to ultimately make that transition from 8th grade to 9th grade.